Hello everyone and welcome to Wilson Waffling Live Take 2, episode 39, recorded on Sunday the 19th of April 2015. Sketching Stars and Talking Heads. Run titles.
Wilson Waffling.
Do you know, I just give in. I just can't believe. Sorry if you saw the first part of the show. This is actually the second part of the show because I forgot to press the record button. And I thought I did so well with the titles coming in and everything, but I forgot to press the record button. So we are now recording, which means that this will appear on YouTube, which is fantastic. So let's cut to the chase. I want to try today, before we go any further, let's do these bits. If you'd like to follow me along on Twitter, here it is, at iWilsonWiseJ, so by all means go along and forward me. But if you would like to tweet me throughout the show, then, or throughout the week, anything about the show, then by all means do so. And if you can use the hashtag WillWaffLive, and then that will appear in the stream as it sort of like goes through. So you can see here, these are the the Will Waffle Lives from the week that people have tweeted that I'm sort of like, I'll keep up and let it go. So you might want to have a look and see whether or not you actually appear. So anyway, before we get on with today's show, I want to try something interesting, I think, because I've been there's two applications that I've seen up and running for a while, and one's called Meerkat and one's called Periscope, and it allows you to live stream from your device, i.e. from your iPad or from your iPhone direct to Twitter. And so what I thought I might do today is that I thought I'm going to have a go at live streaming via Meerkat this week. So I've got it set up down here. So here it is. Look, here it is, all ready to go. And I'm going to press the button in a second, and I've got a stream that is called Watch Me Live Going Live. Now I can't remember which way around my camera needs to be, so we're going to press stream now. So if you are watching me on Twitter, then by all means you'll be able to see this as well. So I'm going to press stream, and just turning the camera around. Yes, right, that looks like it's a quite a good picture there. So so look, you can actually, oops, let me get you in shot. There you go. That's Wilson Waffling. So this is me streaming live. So if you're watching on there, then why don't you go and watch me in live from Ustream? Sorry, and if you're watching on there, then I'm broadcasting live as well. So we'll see what happens on each one. So let's talk about what we've got on the show today. So we've got our look at Wilson Waffling, which as always will be what I posted throughout the week. And then we've got something to do with sketching, we've got something to do with a young head, and we've got something to do with stars. So before we go any further, let's hop over to Wilson Waffling live, wilsonwaffling.co.uk, and see what's been happening. So here we are, here's wilsonwaffling.co.uk. So remember, if you want to find anything out about me or what I'm doing and what I'm not doing, then this is the central point. Now, first things first, here's last week's show. So if you were involved, let me just zoom in. Here's last week's show, Wilson Waffling, episode 38. So if you were involved in that, or you would like to go and watch it, then by all means go along and have a look. And I talked about Minecraft, veggie eating, and a bulletproof liquid. That was fantastic. And then this week, here's my recent blog post here, keynote or mobile device, you decide. And this week I've talked about whether or not you should be tweeting during a keynote. Should you tweet during a keynote? Now, it's really interesting this because, do you know, I got toothache. Last time I had toothache, I ended up in agony for about 2 years. Well, about 3 months. So hope it goes away. Anyway, I'm going to be positive. I'm not dying. Oh, it does hurt though. Ooh, am I a bit puffy on that side? No. Hypochondriac I am. Hypochondriac. So what I wanted to talk about in this week's wilsonwaffling.co.uk is that a lot of the time I go to conferences or I'm watching conferences and I have my Twitter sphere, my timeline open as well, and I'm busy watching and watching the tweets and interacting with the tweets all the time. And I thought, this is interesting. Is this what we should be doing? Should we be engaging with Twitter, or should we be sat really intently looking at the keynote speaker? And what I decided to do is that I split it up into 3 things that I thought what was a really sort of like good way. 3 things that really sort of like brought the tweeting during a conference positively, and would almost like recommend good practice with it. And the first one here I popped down as alerting your PLN. Now, you will realize that a PLN is actually a personal learning network. And one thing I say here is that, you know, I tend to, somebody was in the library the other day and they said to me, you're always connected to Twitter, Ian. And I am. And because somebody else mentioned it on the Twitter timeline the other day, that I don't want to miss anything out. I don't want to miss out on anything. I want to be involved with everything as much as I possibly can. And I really like that, and I really want to sort of like keep up to date. And so I'm always connected to my Twitter feed, and I'm always sort of like involved in it and trying to see what's happening. And I think one of the wonderful things about people tweeting at conferences is that it sort of like alerts us to what's sort of like happening. And it might be before they go, saying I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm on the train, or it might be when they get there, or it might be as they're sat waiting for the keynote speaker to arrive, or anything like that. And I sort of like see this and think, oh, this looks interesting. And probably next week I'm going to talk about attending conferences virtually, which I think is really interesting. Anyway, we'll look at that next week. But one thing I sort of like point out here is that because I have a certain group of people that I follow, and they're for a range of different disciplines, when they start to tweet about conferences, it's likely that I would like to be involved with that conference as well. And it's sort of like, oh yeah, I wish I was there, I wish I could be there. And so I sort of like think that these conferences, these sort of like the tweet alerts me and to what's going on. And I think it's really important, and it sort of like gives a very good, not an impression, but it sort of like alerts people. Now, the second point that I sort of like picked up was this idea of sharing information and links. And you might be thinking at the present moment in time, why on earth is there a gorilla there? Well, I attended this conference virtually, and I was just sort of like watching and listening, and one of the things that came up on the live stream was about guerrilla research. And I thought they meant guerrilla research as in this, as in a gorilla. Now, it turns out that this is not the case. This is not the sort of gorilla they were talking about. They were talking more about the gorilla as in warfare gorilla. Guerrilla warfare. And oops, gone back too far. And the interesting thing was, I mean, anybody who knows me, you'll be aware that I'm one of these people who just puts my foot in it all the time, and I'm sort of like thinking, what's gorillas got to do with research? Is this somebody who's done research on gorillas? So I tweeted what's guerrilla research? Spelling it like the gorilla. Well, it's a lot of people responded and sort of like put me corrected me and said no, it's the wrong type of gorilla. And just here I put it's even somebody must have been following the Twitter feed, because one of the panelists at the conference said with a smile on his face, by the way, that's gorilla rather than gorilla. Gorilla as in warfare rather than gorilla as in ooh. So that was sort of like my embarrassing moment. But the important thing is that while we're tweeting, the first thing is that while we were tweeting and I asked that question, I got a whole load of responses, and people actually responded to me and said, yes, that's it's not that, Ian, it's gorilla as in GUERILLA, the wrong sort of gorilla. And that was fantastic. But the other thing that happens when people are tweeting is that sometimes the keynote presenter might mention a book, and I was saying, oh, what book is this? And they would tweet me the link. And they're not just tweeting me, they're tweeting anybody who sort of like asks a question. And what I really like about the tweeting is that there's this interaction and people are sharing information. Which brings me on to the sort of like the final bit that I talk about, which is the back channel of discussion. And one thing I really like about conferences is the chance to interact and communicate and discuss things. And one thing that I really do find is that when at a conference there's this back channel of discussion happening on Twitter, and it's almost like that time when somebody says talk to your partner and discuss this. Apart from there's lots of discussion going on, and it's not sort of like loud discussion with volume, so it's not stopping anybody, and it's engaging with people at the conference, outside the conference, everywhere, and it's sort of like people interacting with each other and having their own little discussion. And generally what this is about is something that somebody has said, or a link, or something in their own institution, and it's a great way of sharing and sort of like interacting. And I really like the back channel of a discussion, now of a conference. Sorry. Now I do put down here that although people might not like it or voice their opinions against it, I like tweeting from conferences, because generally I'm a virtual attendee and I tend not to go to conference but tend to sort of like listen in. And for me, all you people who are tweeting, I would like to say thank you, because I think it's really useful and I really enjoy it, and it makes me feel part of that conference. Now then, that was the Wilson Waffling for this week. So by all means, if you would like to go have a read of it, or go and have a listen, because remember you can listen to them on Audioboo, then by all means go along and have a look. And you know, if you want to be a little bit adventurous, then don't forget you can go along and post a comment. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, or even press that little thumbs up button at the top and give me a vote. Now, while we're on the subject of watching or listening, I would just also like to remind you that on Wilson Waffling Live, when it actually goes live, you do have the option here. Here's me gazing off into space from last week's show. You do have the option here, rather than watching the whole video, can you see here? There's a whole load of little buttons, and this allows you to jump to the bit that you really want to listen to. So for example, if you want to, the bit that you've just listened to is what's new on the website, which means you could just click here. But if you thought, no, I don't want to do that, I want to look at the Minecraft montage, then clicking that button will take you, with fingers crossed, straight to the Minecraft montage for that week. So don't feel that you have to listen to the whole boring show. If you would like to go straight to Ask Me a Question.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is
Ask Waffling Wilson.
You can go straight to that point and have a listen. So please go along and use the buttons, and every time there's a different set of buttons, and you can sort of like press the ones that you would like to listen to. So hopefully that's helpful to you. So let's continue on. Let's continue on our journey for Wilson Waffling Live, and I'm trying to stick to my half hour as always. We'll see how it goes. But now we're going to talk about something that also came up in the conference, and it came up in the conference, and I noticed somebody was, rather than that were posting on Twitter, were rather than posting notes, they were posting pictures, and I just thought it was absolutely amazing, and I really wanted to show you this person's website so you could see what they were doing. So this is a website by Kevin Mears. Kevin Mears, it says that is his About Me. I'm just reading his About Me. It says, I work as a web designer for the University of South Wales. Okay, and one of his earliest memories is doodling on waste punch cards from the days when computer programs ran on paper. And what he's started to do is that rather than make notes, he actually draws pictures. And so what I thought I would do is to show you some of his work, because I thought it was fantastic. So any of you people who are sort of like really sort of like artistic can sort of like draw these rather than actually writing notes. So this is the conference, the Mainstream Open Education Conference that I went to, and you can see here that these are the talks. So this was Josie Fraser's talk, keynote, and you can click there, and this is his wonderful picture, so to speak, and that sort of like is a synopsis of everything that she was talking to, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. And there was somebody there called Cable Green, who was from America, and you can see how he's done this similar sort of picture as well. So if you think, oh, that's absolutely fantastic, and you would like to go along and have a look, then his address is Mearso. So it's MEARSO. MEARSO.co.uk, and I'll put his website in the show notes down below, so you can go and have a look at him. But really good, I really love it, really think it's a fantastic way of recording, and something that perhaps we should do more of, and remember, if you're a primary school teacher listening to this really gives you an idea of a different way to record those stories or those factual pieces of writing using pictures rather than actually just writing a whole piece of narrative writing. So by all means, pop along. I'm just going to pull up his webpage there so you can see the webpage up there, up at the top, mearso.co.uk. So I thought that was absolutely brilliant, and what's something that I wanted to share with you, and I also mentioned to him that I would be sharing with you guys today. So by all means, go along, and if you want, you can even go along and have a go at that. So next, now then, the other day I got tweeted something on Twitter, and I didn't know what I thought about this to start off with, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought, good on you. And there was a news story that came up, and the news story stated this: Alex Reppold, and I apologise if I've spelled that incorrectly, 28, appointed head teacher at Pocklington County Junior School. 28, and one of the things that they were saying in this article, it says, could Alex be the Britain's youngest head teacher? Okay, after taking on the post aged 28 while still pursuing his own education. Now, really interesting this, and I've been talking about it to a whole load of people, and first of all, well done, Alex. I'm really proud of you. And, obviously that is something that you want to do, and I'm sure you will do a very good job of it. And for those, there might be some people out there thinking, 28, that's not a very good age for doing, far too young. And one of the things I would say is that, experience counts for a lot. Okay, and I think sometimes we put age limits on jobs, or we put age limits on qualifications, and we say you can't have this until you've done that, etc., etc., etc. And we say you need so many years experience before you could be a head teacher or something like that. And really and truly, sometimes I think it is about experience, but you could have 20 years of experience and not have learnt a thing. And you could have also had 20 years of really bad experience and reflected and learnt a lot about it. But really, if you haven't engaged with it, you've gone nowhere with that. That experience has taught you nothing. So I think, although we often talk about age and experience, I think a lot of the time it comes down to the type of experience that you've had, but also, perhaps more importantly, what you've done with that experience and how you've reflected on it and how you've sort of like engaged with it. And I often say to the students on placement that, every experience is a good one. Even if you're not happy with it, or you think, it hasn't gone well, or you've had a really bad lesson, it's still good experience if you react to it, if you reflect on it, and if you learn from it. So I thought that was a really interesting story. I never wanted to become a head, but because I'm not sort of like a manager, but I think, well done, Alex, and I hope you do well, and I hope you really bring the school and the kids on for the future. And, being young, into that technology as well, let's hope. Right, so let's move on to my next exciting, it's all gone dark, my exciting thing, because of course very recently, and I'm not going to play it all just in case there's some copyright issues about it, of course, earlier on this week this came out.
The force is strong in my family.
Of course, it was the latest Star Wars trailer. How exciting! How exciting was that? I absolutely love that beginning. I love the beginning that all of a sudden you sort of like think, oh, what's happening here? And sort of like, as the thing goes on, there's a broken X-Wing fighter there. And then as it goes on, there's this like Imperial cruiser there as well, in the sun, which is excellent. So, Star Wars coming out at The Force Awakens at Christmas. How exciting. Everybody put your hand up if you're really excited about it. Yes, I can see you all are. Really exciting, really good trailer. Second one I've seen still has Harrison Ford in it. Looking a bit grey, but still looking bloody fantastic, I think. Well done, Harrison. And he's sort of like, I think I was reading on here, I just got it out in front of me, and it said, Harrison Ford, who plays the space smuggler Solo, last appeared in a Star Wars film more than 30 years ago, when Return of the Jedi was released in 1983. I remember it well, Harrison, and you were good now, good then, and it will be fantastic at Christmas. He says Ford, 72, still recovering from crashing his place onto a golf course. I was unable to attend the Star Wars celebration, but he'll be there. He'll be there, and we'll watch him, and another great legacy to look at. So let's move on. Let's move on a bit, and let's have a look at, we've got 2 more things to do. Time's fleeting on. And before we go anywhere else, I think it is time to have a quick look at what's been happening on Minecraft. If you don't like Minecraft, don't listen, because this is the Minecraft montage. Yes, the Minecraft montage. Yeah, so now if you are a Minecraft person and you get really excited about Minecraft, then several things that I would like to point out to you. First of all, if you would like to come and join us on our server, then you can follow the adventures of the server along on the Wilson Waffling .engine.com, engine ENJIN.com, where I keep you up to date with what's happening. So by all means go along. We can see somebody's online here, and it shows we have blog posts and we have galleries and things like that. So by all means go along and have a long chicken in a minecart if you would like to have a laugh at that. So by all means, if you're interested in Minecraft, then you come along and join us. Come to our server and join in. And we have got we just started some new exciting sort of like events. So we've got some competitions for diamonds and emeralds going on. So if you're interested in that, then by all means you can pop along and join in the diamonds and emeralds. And we've also got this, which is the new collaboration to actually build something. And what we've done is that we've actually I've created a space for Egypt, and the idea is now that people on the server are going to get together and they're going to start building something actually on Minecraft together. That's the idea, to join it all together, and it's going to be a vision of ancient Egypt. And we've got lots of these planned, so if you're a Minecraft person, then by all means come along. There's an application link at the top of the website, that's here. So by all means click it. It's a simple form to fill out, just telling us about your experience, giving us the email address so we can include you in the Minecraft updates every week. And also I ask you for your Minecraft login name so we can whitelist you onto the server. Now, please remember that if you are new to Minecraft, then this is the perfect place for you, because it is a friendly server. You don't have to be involved in education. You can just be, if you just want to come along and have a go and experience Minecraft, then by all means you are very welcome on our server. So come along and fill in the application and then come and have a look at us. And you might be interested that we're going to do some streaming on Twitch TV, so you can catch up with me on Twitch TV /Waffling Wilson, and we'll be hosting other people's servers. So by all means come and have a look. So, and you don't have to be, like I said before, you don't have to be super good at it. You might just be to the stage that you're thinking, what is all this about? I really need to have a look and get involved. There's no commitment. Fill in the application and come along. So if you are interested in that, then pop along to the site and catch up. And hopefully what we'll find pretty soon is that we will find some people who have been growing and building in this new area. I'm just seeing how big I can get in the collaborate builds. I think I've busted it. I think I have. Never mind, I must have busted it. It's all going funny on me. Let me just zoom in this big. So yeah, so it'd be worth coming along and seeing what's happening in Egypt, and you might actually be able to be involved there. Have I spelled Egypt right? I'm just thinking that. It suddenly looked funny it suddenly looked funny, and I thought, oh, have I actually spelt it right? I think I have. I think it just looks funny. So that's a Minecraft montage. So without further ado, it is time to go to that exciting part that we all look forward to every week with the Ask, when I answer questions that you have set for me. So let's go move straight across to Wilson Waffling Answers.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is...
Ask Waffling Wilson.
Please note, the new number is...
Ask Waffling Wilson.
Hello?
Hello? Yes, hello. It's Ask Waffling Wilson time. Now, somebody sort of like asked me, why have I stopped putting up the answers on the web page? Because on the web page there is a part that says Ask Me, and if I'll just show you it now. On here, see there, and I used to put all the answers. So these are all the questions that we've had so far, including my pussycat. She's dead now, but that was my pussycat. And I thought, ooh, what should I just keep adding them to there, or should I not? And the question is, should I or shouldn't I? Because I think what I might do is link to the video. So I might put the video link up there in future, so you can go and watch the video and find out the answer to your questions if you've asked me a question, which will be good. So let's move on. Now then, if you remember last time, we got to this part, and I think there was actually 4 questions. So I split them up, and we answered 2 last week and good answered 2 this week. Oh, and now we've got what? I don't want to answer that. It suddenly said, do you want a dishwasher? I think it was an advert. So last week we had summer or winter, and we had best joke. Oh, do you want to know? We've got 1, 2, 3, and the question of the day, we got 3. So we've got another 1, which go on to next week's show. So here we go. So it says, this is the first question, and I never know who it's from, but if you ever want to add your name, you can always add your name to it. I don't mind. Even though you don't like PE, would you actually enjoy teaching it? Now, you are right. I'm a geeky person. I'm not very good at things like sport or anything like that. But PE, to me, there's 2 separate bits of PE. There's sort of like PE inside and PE outside. And one thing that I'm not very good when I'm outside, it's a bit chilly. I don't mind the cold, but when it's freezing cold and I'm having to run around, that's not ideal. But I used to teach basketball, well, a primary version of basketball, when I was a primary school teacher, and I really loved that. It was really nice. And when I was in the classroom for inside, we used to play a whole load of different PE sort of like games. We used to play games. We used to have races. We used to get I used to love getting the apparatus out, things like that. But we also used to do gymnastics. I used to do like forwards rolls and headstands and handstands and cartwheels. And then we used to play that awful Sharks in the Sea. Do you remember Sharks in the Sea, when you had to run around? And you only allowed 3 people on the mat, and then you had to dive on the mat when it's Sharks in the Sea, and the mats were put away. So I actually, although I'm not keen on PE, I can safely say that I enjoyed teaching it, but it wasn't my favourite. Okay, but I do enjoy teaching PE, and I always put on a happy face for PE. So next, if you could bring any real building into your Minecraft server, what would it be and why? Any real building into the Minecraft server, and why? That's a difficult one. Do you know, there's some imaginary buildings that I would love to see. And being in York, you know, where the Castle Museum is in York, there used to be a York Castle. And I think it used to be a Norman castle with a motte and bailey and everything like that. And I really would like to see what that looked like, you know, actually on Minecraft. and it might be one of the builds we do later on if I can find an appropriate place for it, because we'll need 2 rivers that join together, and we actually might build it from pictures, which would be fantastic. But I think the other thing that I would really love to see in Minecraft is probably York Minster. And I don't know if you know York Minster, but if you've ever been to York Minster is very impressive, very, very impressive. And the other nice thing about working where I do is that the York Minster, I'm just getting you a picture of it. Here it is, look, here's York Minster, little picture of it. One of the great things about where I work is that we actually get to graduate in York Minster. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but York Minster the central tower, the square bit, is not exactly what it should look like. It should have actually had a bell tower on the top and then a spire, but when they got up to that high building it, foundations weren't too good, so they never put it up. So I would really like to see York Minster, York Castle in there. That would be fantastic. And York Minster, but how it should have been, with the belfry and the spire on top of it, to see how fantastic it would have looked. I always look at York Minster and think, how on earth did you build that? It's quite amazing. So those were the 2 questions that I've answered, so I'll stick those in the links, and there'll be a special link on next week's show that you can actually go straight to that part of the video and find out the answers. And if I remember, I'm going to tweet those answers throughout the week as well. So if you were one of the people who gave me those questions, then that is fantastic. Thank you very much, and look out for the answers if you're not watching now. So that brings us to the end of this week's live show. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed me blabbling on for half an hour. And if you're watching this on YouTube, remember you can flick through it and just enjoy the bits that you really want to enjoy. So just before I go, let's make sure that we bring you up to date with everything that's important. So remember that you can go along to wilsonwaffling.co.uk and keep up to date with all my blog posts and all this stuff to do with Minecraft and on the forums. There's also a leveling up competition there that you can level up to become a legend waffler. And also there's a competition that this month is to win I Waffled with Wilson badge, but next week it might even be something that costs money. Yeah, I might actually have had to come to the fact that I'm going to bribe you. So look out for that. Look out for that later on. So if you would like to follow me on Twitter, then my Twitter handle is @iWilsonYSJ. And please remember that if you would like to ask me any questions, then you can either go along to wilsonwaffling.co.uk or follow the link here to my Ask.fm page. If you are tweeting anything throughout the week to do with Wilson Waffling Live, then please make sure that you give it the hashtag WillWaffLive, as you can see there, and then you will appear on the stream here, and you'll see it as I go along. And I apologize that I haven't kept this up very often throughout today's stream, but I'm going to try to do it more often. I promise you. I do promise you. So, and you might even get a feature. I don't think the chat room, just so you know, you can always join me in the chat room from the live stream if you go along to Ustream. As you can see, the chat room is as barren as ever. Nobody there at all. And I'm just checking the Twitter feed. We do also have a Twitter feed that if you had tweeted at Will Waff Live, it would appear here, and we've had no tweets this today. So that's fine, not a problem at all. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's Wilson Waffling Live, episode 39, as was. Next week It's episode 40. How exciting. I need to do something spectacular. What? I don't know. Keep an eye out for me on all my social media, and I hope you've enjoyed the show, and I hope you have a really good week ahead. Look after yourself. I'll catch you all later. Bye.